Welcome back to another week, another book club meeting. This time we went through the last three chapters, so chapters 3, 4, and 5. And with me is my brother from another mother. It's your boy, Backflips, aka Bob. Bob, good to see you as always.
Yeah, good to see me through this trying COVID times.
Yes, yes. We live quite a whiles away, but it's a nice little get together, even if it is to read a pretty messed up book at times.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's where we live, so, well, we don't live in a vampire-infested world, but...
You'll give this COVID thing a couple weeks, you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, where we left off, the book wasn't really going too deep into the world. It was more just understanding Robert and his mental state at this point, which is basically deteriorated English. There's nothing he does except just try to survive day by day, smoking, drinking, and I thought it was really funny. Last week I made a comment that he's like a modern day Van Helsing, and Chapter 3 immediately opens and laughs at me about it. I'm going to read it right now. The strength of the vampire is that no one will believe in him. Thank you, Dr. Van Helsing. Immediately laughs at me. And there's a good line a little later in the same chapter where he just chucks the book across the room. But yeah, I'll pass the reins to Bob. These three chapters, what are your thoughts so far?
Well, just as far as books go, I'm not a huge fan of, reading books in books, so the Van Helsing thing was a little iffy for me, but, it was a good, great descriptions of, oh, he lost his appetite, all he's doing is drinking. It's the only thing he can do to try and keep his sanity. And throughout, while he's reading the book, he's constantly thinking about the vampires that are outside, so it kind of intertwines with said book,
Yeah.
being Van Helsing. But, and then it says something about Kathy. I wasn't sure, is Kathy his kid or his wife? I actually don't remember.
Kathy is his wife. His daughter's name is Virginia.
Yeah, okay, because they, so he stumbled in the bathroom, washed his hand because he broke something. I need a cigarette, he thought. It was his only thought while he's, bandaging himself up. I guess that's... I don't know. That chapter was kind of hit and miss for me, but after that, it got a lot better, because it went for... It was good.
Yeah. And I guess on that note, we should start... Well, I guess I should have warned spoilers in advance, because, like Bob said, the next couple chapters, they take off. Oh my god. I sent this to Bob out of context after I finished the chapters for the week, but the entirety of just chapter 5, I'm going to skip 4 for a second, but the entirety of chapter 5 just makes the movie look awful, frankly. It really kind of hits at how much they took out of the movie and just how detailed a book is in comparison. Chapter 4, chapter 3 ends where he got a little too drunk and passed out, and by chapter 4 he woke up much later than normal. We mentioned it before, but he had a problem with it being a cloudy day because he can't exactly watch the sun and see the exact moment he needs to be inside before these, I guess they're feral vampires, but whatever time these vampires come out. And then he realizes way too late, hey, I don't know how long it's been, it's probably getting close to dark, I need to get home. And by chapter 5, he's driving home, sure, and it's still cloudy, but there's a swarm of just vampires waiting outside for him. And from about 2 pages in, or 6 swipes if you're looking at the Kindle version, about 6 swipes in, it just becomes this insane action sequence where he's fighting off vampires. He's good old Ben Cortman is back, fighting him off, trying to stop the vampires from even potentially getting in the garage to destroy the generator he has for his home, to the point that they're even attacking the car, destroying it. I don't know if they understand how it works and how important that thing is to him, but the moment he sees them destroying it, all bets are off. Pulls out 2 pistols, a la Duke Nukem or Serious Sam, and then just starts blasting them. It's clearly ineffective because, vampires versus modern day bullets, but oh my god, I fell in love with just chapter 5 alone all over again.
Yeah, I don't know. The action sequence was really, really good for me. Like, I was thoroughly enthralled. I wanted to keep reading, but then the scene ended, evidently. I was very worried for him the entire time because I was like, oh, like when we were watching Toy Story 3 and the toys all held hands, spoilers. And I was like, oh, this is the end of the movie. But, like, I could see that this is only, like, the 37th page of the book. And I was like, I don't know what happens. And I wanted to keep going. But I didn't. But no, there's something about this book now. It's actually, like, got me. It's so descriptive. Richard Matheson does a great job through chapter 4, describing him going to visit a crypt of Virginia's daughter. I need to be sure. And then there's like a monster inside, and he drags him out. And then he finds out that his watch is not working. Thus plunging him into chapter 5, where he's just freaking out. He's like, how could I have been so dumb, blah, blah, blah. And even the driving scene before the actual, like, fight scene of the book was, like, it's just crazy. It's like, oh, it keeps coming out of doorways and stuff. And you can, like, actually imagine it. Like, even though I've seen the movie, and I can imagine it from that, but, like, I also was like, oh, like, this is just, like, you can imagine it. If you've ever seen, like, a decrepit old building or anything like that, and you're always worried that something's going to jump out at you, that's it. That's it right there.
Yeah. And actually, on the note of chapter 4, chapter 4 has a little bit more philosophy, I'd say. Like, ultimately, it's just him waking up in the day, going to visit his daughter's crypt, and then just going about his day. But whenever he does find this monster, this I think it was just a recently...
Yeah, just hiding in the crypt.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just hiding, which they do make a point in chapter 2, I think it was, where they talk about Robin and I were just going to I think it was a grocery store, or maybe it was the Sears where he got the lathe, but seeing a couple vampires in just silly positions trying to hide from the sun, doing anything they can just because they're seemingly that desperate for hiding from the sun. But the whole chapter, or at least the last couple pages, it goes into him philosophizing what the vampires actually are, why this one is particularly dead, making the connection between the sun and these vampires. Also just him theorizing a couple things about how stuff like garlic, the mirror, the sun, affects their blood. So, to summarize it, chapter 3 is really just another night with Neville. Chapter 4 being a bad day with Neville, if you will. And chapter 5 is, God help me, please let the morning come.
Yeah, that was the blood boiling thing. Like, does that work for Fail Vampires? I guess it's like a different universe, so I don't know all the vampire rules. Like, not even a little bit, because they're so different between, like, story to story, but it works. So,
and that is the strangest thing, is what kind of vampires are these? If you look at the I Am Legend movie, they treat it like it's a cure for cancer, I think it was, that just mutated and went significantly wrong.
Turn them into like supervillains,
like
superhero powers, but just like no brain up top except for kill.
Exactly. There's like the odd thing here and there that shows some intelligence. Like in the movie, at least, they had there was a scene where they set a trap for him. Like they had 2 mannequins in the middle of the road, and he got snared in like a Ewok style trap or something like that. I don't know, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, and the dog saved him. I'm really glad that the dog hasn't come yet, because if the dog would have died in this fight scene, I would have raged.
Yeah, and like just the way he describes the horde of zombies makes me think, or vampires, sorry. See, now they got me doing it. It always makes me think of Left 4 Dead, like if you think of like the first episode or the first level, so to speak, where you enter a building and there's just swarms of them you have to cut a path through. Like, he's trying to deal with something like that single-handedly on the hardest difficulty, if you will.
Like, he succeeded. He made it back into his house.
Yeah. He punched out vampires like a real man. I mean, move over, Blade.
Man, when the way he described it, he was just like walking back and forth in front of his house, but he like kneed Ben Cortman like some sort of like vigilante Batman. Batman is a vigilante, I get it, but like it's just like nuts. Like he's just like, oh, I need him as I walk by, and he goes back into his house like, all right, you're sick. I get it.
It did feel a little cartoonish. It was something like he punched him in the throat and got him on the ground, reached the door to enter, and then realized he forgot his keys. So immediately turns back and, like Bob said, does like a running knee to the face, something like that. Which I know we've seen in countless like cartoons and comic books for sure.
I dig it. Like if that's the way that the action scenes are going to be in this book, like you got me. I'm hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm here for the long haul, Zach.
Glad I could get you on this book. Not a lot. I've recommended this book to so many different people. Shout out to my roommate Chandler, who still hasn't read this book after 4 years of living with him and talking about it. But whatever.
Dude's a bum. But
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll ask you the same question I did last week. Now that you've read a little bit more, where do you think this story is going to go?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I mean, evidently, towards the end of it, I don't know if, like, they said that they attacked the generator, or they could attack the generator, so I don't know if the house is good. I don't know if it's, like, maybe we're going to get more days of him fixing the house, which is fine, because, more time for antics, because he's got to leave and come back. Basic survival things, putting himself in jeopardy. But yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not, like, too big of a time jump if we do get one. Because, like, maybe if, like, nothing happens, if there's nothing to, like, describe, I get it. But, yeah, I'm not sure.
So, on that note, the book's broken up kind of odd, but let me just see. So, it's 4 parts in general. The first part is the first 5 chapters, which we've just gone through, which is January 1976. So, I'd say it's, like, the span of maybe 2 or 3 days, something like that. Part 2, is March of the same year, and that's from chapters 6 through 14.
No, a 2-month time jump, that's not so bad. I was worried it was going to be like July or August.
No, but actually on that note, so chapters 15 through 19 are 2 years later, June 1978. And the final part, which is 20 and 21, is January of 1979. So about 3 years in total for the entirety of the story.
That's not so bad. That's feasible.
Yeah, and from what it looks like, I mean, if it is parts, it looks like it's this set of stories, or this part is within the span of a couple days, maybe a week. This one, maybe a couple weeks, something like that. So it's cohesive enough that it's not like, here's him 2 days in, here's him 28 days in, here's him 28 months in, so on and so forth. But yeah, so if you guys have not started reading this book, Bob and I think, clearly do recommend this. This is a fantastic read.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Huge book. Not huge book, but like huge good. I can't even do words.
Not only is it the grandfather to every zombie movie ever created, this is just one of the best sci-fi books I've ever read. So yeah. Any closing thoughts? Any hopes? Or I know you're still nervous about the dog, which I won't lie to you, Bob. That is coming at some point, and you'll like it, I think.
I'm forever nervous about dog scenes. Just I can't do it. Can't watch A Dog's Journey. Can't watch The Fox and the Hound. I just no.
Now, admittedly, when I first heard there was a dog in this book, did you ever see Blade Trinity?
Yeah.
So you remember how they had like a vampire Pomeranian in that?
Yeah.
That's always my fear when it comes to these. When this book, like the movie had vampire, I think they were dash hounds or German shepherds or something intimidating, but my ultimate fear, yeah, is still gonna be these zombie dog. Oh, God, now they got me doing it. Bloody hell, vampire dogs, not zombies, vampires. But yeah, overall, highly recommended. Please keep reading this beautiful book.
See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you all for joining, and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.